Welcome back to Save the Pumpkins podcast, Christmas edition. We have myself, Amy, and Shane
You got
with you.
and you called my name out.
Yeah.
So
Tried to change it up a little bit.
No, I like that because now I don't even have to be here. You got so tired of me talking so much, you were like, I'm Amy and this is Shane over here. Okay, let's just get this thing going. Let's crack on with it. Okay, all right.
People just want to hear the good stuff.
Wow. And the good stuff is you. I got it. Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay.
Well, the people have spoken and,
Man.
Got to give my fans what they want.
Oh, I can't wait for the kids to hear this. So we're talking about 2023's. Just came out last night, I believe. A Merry Scottish Christmas starring
Lacey Chabert.
I think. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Is it Chabert or Chabert?
Chabert. Lacey Chabert. How would you say it?
I think it's Chabert, but it might be Chabert.
And Scott Wolf.
Yep.
Janet Green, Kelly Blaze, and James Robinson.
Yep.
And Lacey and Scott play brother and sister, Lindsay and Brad.
Well, they play. So the big thing about this one was the reunion of Scott Wolf and Lacey Chabert, which is, I believe, how you say her name.
Chabert. What am I saying?
Chabert, didn't you? What did you say?
I didn't say Chabert.
Okay, anyway.
Lindsay,
it doesn't
Lacey
matter.
Chabert. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So it's their reunion. I believe she said that they had talked about always wanting to do something together again because they were, of course, on Party of Five.
Yes.
Where they played brother and sister there as well, which you smartly brought up at the beginning of this when I was like, oh, okay, they're brother and sister here. And you were like, yeah, they're really not going to. I had thought about it, but you brought it up and said it out loud first, so you get credit. They're not going to make them romantically involved.
Yeah, anybody that watched Party of Five.
The public perception of them, I know we think of actors as can be anything, but no, you don't. You think of them as brother and sister in the sort of pop culture consciousness. You don't want to see the two of them smooching all over each other in a movie. That's just not what that's what they don't think people want to see that. And I think they're probably correct. So they made them brother and sister. And what's the story? What do we set up? We open up with them in a car, they open up with them arriving at an airport. And what do we learn?
Yeah, so Scott Wolf's character is married.
Yeah.
And they arrive at the airport first. And then Lacey's character, Lindsay, she arrives next. And they have a car waiting for them. Their mom has been in Scotland and has called them to come and spend the holiday with her because she has some news to share. And they don't know what it is. So they arrive at this castle and they're under the impression that it's kind of like a hotel that they're staying at. And they walk in on this tour.
We learn that Lacey Chabert and Lindsay and Brad don't get along. They've lost connection as brother and sister over the years. They've kind of stopped inviting each other to their home and to parties and things. It's maybe one of my little nitpicky quirks with the movie, but we learned that they have lost. They've lost connection with each other.
We learned that their parents had gotten divorced, and I think
Sure.
after their parents got divorced, things started to get a little rocky for them as siblings.
But it wasn't because of the divorce. It was just
age,
time
just
and
growing.
age. Yeah, it was more that. Yeah, exactly.
Starting career, we find out that she's a medical practitioner.
GP, yeah. Yep.
And he's a tax attorney, and so they've started careers that are very busy, and
Los Angeles and San Francisco,
right,
respectively. Yep.
And so Brad is married to Sarah. They have no children. Lindsay is single, and they go to this castle and they meet up with their mom, and there's like you said, there's supposed to be some animosity between Lindsay and Brad. And, you know, the one thing that I will say is I don't think Lacey Chabert. Oh, now you got me so self conscious. Lacey, I don't think her character to me will ever be convincing if they make her angry at something. Like has that look about her, just the sweetness about her, that I don't think they could ever make her character be mean or angry or hateful, because I won't buy it. You know, so their definition of them being unfriendly with each other as brother and sister we didn't see that really.
It was my criticism of the movie. You're stealing my thunder. It was my criticism of the movie. The first 10 minutes, I was like, they're being incredibly cordial to one another. Not like super close, let's pal around, but they were being, if you meant to show me animosity, the only animosity I see is them telling each other, yeah, we don't have to spend a lot of time together or anything. But apart from that, they weren't steering clear of each other, really. It was very weird in that I think the overwhelming chemistry, I know I used the word too much, the overwhelming chemistry between those two actors makes it very difficult for someone to write them not in the same scene.
Right.
You can't write, I'm going to bring up Nikki DeLoach and Andrew Walker again. If you put Andrew Walker and Nikki DeLoach in a movie, like the very first Dying for Chocolate, Curious Caterer, I keep going, where's Andrew Walker? And when are the two of them going to start talking to one another? That's what I want to see, right? What's them separated stuff? You only do that occasionally. And it was the same here. I think it was, honestly, I don't think they wanted to give them too much of a wedge between the two in their lives, because they wouldn't have been able to get out of it as quickly. And to their credit, it's not 15 minutes into the movie until they're enjoying each other's company.
Well, I this is just my little observation, is I thought that there was more of a problem of not so much that Lindsay and Brad needed to reconcile their brother-sister relationship, but more that Brad and his wife Sarah really needed to like work on their relationship. And they touch on it a little bit, but it's not the focus. But if you watch this movie again, and to our listeners, if they watch it, if they listen to this before they watch it, it bothered me in the scenes where Brad walked into a room and his wife was walking like 15, 20 feet behind him. Or there was one scene when he goes, okay, well, I'm going to bed. And he starts walking up the stairs and his wife is just like traveling behind him. It's like, there was never like a moment where he acted in the movie as though he was married.
Well,
like
he was supposed to be having trouble with her. You don't think that was why
well,
they
no,
did it?
No. But they never led you to believe that they were not talking to each other kind of trouble. It was just like they have been busy and they haven't, they've been struggling to have children, but not like that he like forgot that he was married to somebody. Like it just, I don't know, maybe because you just spoil me and you open my car door and you do this and you do that. But
did you hear that, everybody?
You just pick up on it, like
I didn't pick up on that. So good. I mean, any of it that I saw, I would have just assumed it was they were trying to create a feeling of,
like when he walked in to like one of the parties that they went to, he walked in and he was walking in with his sister sometimes, and his wife was in the back just walking in casually like an afterthought. And I'm like, wow, like why even portray him being married in this movie? Honestly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was.
Are you about to be negative on this movie?
No.
Because I actually really, again, a little sneak peek here, I actually sort of liked it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't. I just thought that if you're going to introduce a spouse and go into it by him saying to Lindsay at some point, she's like, something's not right with you. What is it? You can talk to me. And then you start saying something about your spouse. Well, you're including this character in the whole, storyline. Then kind of I don't know. It was just so
Oh no, I'm not. I'm
struck
not
me
looking at you
weird.
like you're crazy. I just didn't. I don't. That's obviously a thing you picked up on. That I just wrote it off as they're trying to build that there's trouble there, the things they need to work on. I don't know, but okay. If you saw a detachment that was different, that
Well,
made it look so detached that he might as well have just not been married. No, I
yeah,
didn't see that.
I don't know.
I
Just
will say this:
weird.
she didn't feel like a very fleshed out character.
Right.
The wife.
Right.
And I thought she was fine enough. The actress was pleasant, but she was. There was absolutely no point to her being in the story. I agree with you, but it
Well,
wasn't about her.
so
I mean,
we find out that the mom had when she was 20.
Cynthia Nixon,
Huh? Oh boy, you're not gonna
this
let me.
actress, whose name is I cannot remember, but I will tell you in 2 seconds. Looks very similar. Her name is Fiona Bell. She looks very, very similar to Cynthia Nixon. Late Cynthia Nixon. I've only in my life seen 3 or 4 episodes of Sex in the City. It's not my cup of tea. No one in it is my cup of tea. But I know what she looks like. And now she looks a little older, a little thinner. And Fiona Bell looks very similar to her, like they could be. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes,
I
you've
interrupted
said
your
that
thing, and I'm
numerous
frustrating you.
times.
Go, yeah, no, I said it. Go ahead.
But basically, the mom at the age of 20 left her family home because she was going to inherit the title Duchess of Glencave.
Glenn Carver.
Glen,
Go ahead, and I'll correct him.
Glenclave. Glenclave?
Go ahead.
And she wanted to marry an American and start a folk band and not be defined by the fact that she was going to inherit, a family line of Duke and Duchesses of this Scottish castle community. And she left and had Lindsay and Brad, and they were completely unaware of her mom's heritage and family, and are a little bit upset with the mom for not ever being introduced to this side of the family. And mom is apologetic and says, well, now I've inherited it because my brother, who took over after I walked out on the family, has died.
Glen Crave. Glen Crave.
Right, Glencrave. And so now what do we do? It's in the mom's hands. Are the kids going to want to inherit it? Do they want to take it over? It's a lot of responsibility. Should the mom sell it? And they go back to their lives of being a doctor and an attorney and back in the States.
Beautiful castle. What did he say? How many acres?
30,000? Is that what you said?
It was, and I was like, it was like either 30,000 or 3,000. It doesn't matter. Even if you want to sell it and make some money and turn that, I don't have any interest in going to Scotland and living. I would go live in Scotland if I had that castle and that land. Like, no one, I don't care what you do.
Well, it's kind of a little bit of a difficult situation. They don't know anything about the culture, and, this has been such a landmark, the governing
yeah, but it's not like moving
body.
to a foreign country in that you don't understand the language. The worst that they would have been put out, I mean, I get it. Maybe if you have the worst thing that they would have to put up with moving to Scotland is learning a little bit of Gaelic, and then not really. It's an English speaking country.
Right.
The barrier would have been non-existent. Like there is no barrier. So it's just weird that, to me, that they, I don't know. I immediately looked at you when we were watching. I was like, look, this place is gorgeous. They're correct. Someone says it during it. It looks like a fairy tale. Yeah, it does. No one wouldn't move to fairy tale land. She was a GP. You can be a GP anywhere. I mean, I get it. Where we live, this is my state. This is my home. I'd move to Scotland in a heartbeat. And I love where I live.
Well, it was going to be a lot of
responsibility.
I think that they portrayed it a little bit too light. It was more like, ooh, I could be a Duke and Duchess, and I just don't know what I should do. And
You're hitting on my fault with the movie, but go ahead.
and it's not just like you go to bed and you wake up the next day and say, yes, I think I wanted to do that because that seems swell. Um, and like I said, Lacey's character.
They brought up that it was a working castle only like once or twice. But yeah, the movie, if it has a fault, and I can't really fault it for this because you're in dreamland, you're in fantasy world. They're not meant to show you all the work that has to get done on the farm, if you will. But like, you're right. Every second was pleasant. It was like, we're going to a pub and we're gonna drink this. They drink and eat a lot in this movie, and we're gonna go judge a whiskey contest. Like, it was nothing but like, you looked at me at one point, oh, that sounds like fun. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, let's do all this fun stuff. Where's the downside to moving to this place? And then they bounce. Bless him. I know that he's been in other movies, and I'm gonna whatever I catch for saying this, or I don't care. James Robinson that plays Mac. He's like, he bounces in and he's like, oh, it's a Merry Scottish Christmas. Like, everywhere he comes, he's like, oh, you want to go with me everywhere? I don't know. You said it towards the end. I wish he had played his character a little more dour, a little more like, like Andy. Maybe I was just wishing you would stay or whatever.
I really honestly don't think that his character had too many big convincing parts.
If they had left him and the wife out, it would have been just as good a movie.
Right, true.
They really would have. Now, I know they wanted to give Lacey Chabert a love interest, but for Pete's sake, save it for the sequel.
Right.
Make her be working at the castle as the Duchess and give her, you've paraded A Prince for Christmas or Crown for Christmas or whatever. It's like 3 or 4 of those movies or whatever at this point. Bring Lacey Chabert back and have her meet the love and give her that one. This was a cool little story. You got this movie together legitimately just to get Scott Wolf and Lacey Chabert back on the screen. There's no need to give them partners. Mm-hmm. Honestly, let them meet some partners.
I do like Scott Wolf. I think he's a good actor.
He's very good in this too.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
I did like his character.
So is she. The two of them are. I said this in the middle of the movie. I was like, yeah, they're in every scene together. There's a reason why. They are crazy comfortable working with each other for obvious reasons. I know you said she was like a little girl when they worked together, and I'm like, yeah, but they still had to go to work daily on set of a television show. You get comfortable around someone and you start forming little bonds of friendship, and that shows, like I always say about Andrew Walker and Nikki DeLoach. How you feel about each other off set, if there is that kind of relationship. Actors have to get over that kind of thing to be in a movie, but
yeah, I thought it was nice to have like a brother sister storyline, rather than the focus of like meeting true love.
I remind you, you said you want the good traditional love story, and now you've liked a couple movies that haven't had it.
I do still like the traditional old school Hallmark holiday love stories, but they're changing it up. Like, it's not the same anymore. Remember what I said about houses and cars? Like,
but the two love stories in this one were completely worthless.
So if you're going to change something up because you're changing it up, start giving me some different kinds of stories. So this is the brother-sister.
I gotcha. We're friends.
Right, but I'm always going to go back to,
sure,
the days of yore.
The days of yore. Okay.
When the
days of yore 2015-16 Hallmark. Yeah, I agree with you. When a love story is done well, then the bit players that are on the side accent it. They aren't your favorites. They give it a little bit extra pizzazz. The mom, Fiona Belden, I say that was her name. She's great in this too. She does a really good job. All Cynthia Nixon jokes aside, she's very good. She looks like a mom struggling with hiding the secret for all those years, because she was trying to make, her kids have their own life. A little more fantasy land. No two children would have come back to her the next day and been like, we really wish you had told us, Mom. I was like, no, kids hang on to that stuff forever.
Mm-hmm.
They just would not have been that mature, but we've only got an hour and 25
Right.
minutes to do this thing, so got to get done. I liked it a lot. I thought,
What would you rate this one?
I'd give this one a 4.4, 4.5,
No,
4.3.
I'm still like 4.1.
Oh no, so I've said it before, multiple things. Good writing. The director that directed this one, I think, did the Next Stop Christmas that we liked with Chandler Massey in it, who you said you don't like. I think good writing or great chemistry between the leads. And in this one, the chemistry between the two leads, who, you can tell me their love stories all you want to. The two leads in this were Scott Wolf and Lacey Chabert. Period.
Yeah, they carried it.
And their chemistry was out of sight. It was they didn't miss a beat. They should be in another one. A Merry Scottish Christmas 2. But I don't know what, the Blarney Stone or whatever silly thing. That's Irish. You can't do that. That's completely offensive. But yeah, and I think their chemistry shoots it up there to that 4.2, 4.3. I'm gonna go back. I think I went down a little bit. 4.2, 4.3. In there somewhere. The story in this I liked, but there were a couple of characters we could have just shed. Not because they were bad actors, but because there just was no point in having them there aside from giving Lacey Chabert a romantic interest. And I don't know.
And it wasn't convincing, so
it wasn't necessary. I thought the Mac was just fine. That James Robinson's a good actor. I thought he did a good job. The way they either told him or chose for him to play it with this sort of puppy dog enthusiasm, I thought was a little too much, a little silly. And the poor woman that played Scott Wolf's Brad's wife just didn't get a role.
Right.
Like, she'd have been fine. I thought the actress was just fine. She just didn't have much to say. Kind of like the butler or whatever. He was like, you should be a little charming, Alfred, and you weren't. But it doesn't matter. This is all about Lacey Chabert and Scott Wolf, and if you like the two of them, you will like it.
Yeah. So
and it was very sweet. Had a sweet ending. A little, brother and sister. That's kind of a teary, get you teary a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So watch it. Let us know what you think. Leave some comments, and remember to do something that makes you happy today.